A laying worker is basically a sign of sheer desperation. When a hive loses its queen and, for whatever reason, can't make a new one, the entire social order just falls apart. After a few weeks of queenlessness, the ovaries in some of the worker bees actually start to develop, and they begin laying eggs. The big problem? They can't mate, so they can only produce drones, male bees, which, you guessed it, spells doom for the colony's future.
So, you might be wondering, how does a colony, this perfectly tuned little superorganism, get to such a desperate place? Well, it all boils down to the absence of one single, incredibly important individual, the queen.
A healthy queen is like a walking chemical factory. She's constantly pumping out these powerful pheromones that are literally the social glue holding the hive together. These signals are basically telling every other bee, hey, I'm here, I'm laying eggs, everything is fine, and crucially, they suppress the ovarian development in all the female workers. But when she's gone for more than a couple of weeks, that signal just vanishes. The whole system shorts out, and that's when the chaos begins.
Catching a laying worker hive early is absolutely the key to saving it. So your regular hive inspection suddenly turns into a detective's investigation. You're looking for clues that the social contract in that hive has been totally broken.
So here's what you need to look for. A queen, she lays one single egg perfectly centered at the bottom of the cell. Laying workers, they're sloppy. You'll see multiple eggs crammed into one cell, often just stuck to the sides. The whole brood pattern will look patchy and bumpy, and that's because it's all drone brood. And the mood of the hive, it completely changes. They get agitated, and you'll notice foraging just drops off. If you see any queen cells, they're usually tiny, weak, and totally non-viable because they're just desperate attempts built around a drone larva, which can never, ever become a queen. Seeing these signs together, well, that's your smoking gun.
All right, so you've diagnosed the problem. Now for the most important part, the fix. I know it might feel like a lost cause when you see it, but it's not. There are proven really effective ways to reset the hive and pull it back from the brink.
Every single rescue method shares one fundamental goal. You've got to get rid of the pseudo-queens, those laying workers, and convince the colony to accept a real one. You have to break that cycle of dysfunction and put proper leadership back in place.
Now, this is the classic method, and for good reason. The logic behind it is just brilliantly simple. You take the entire hive and move it at least 100 meters away. Then you shake every single bee off the frames and onto the ground. The normal worker bees, the foragers, they know where home is. They'll fly right back to the original hive spot. But the laying workers, they're heavier because of their developed ovaries, and they haven't been on foraging flights, so they're totally disoriented and can't find their way back. They get left behind, leaving you with a loyal workforce that's now ready to accept a new queen.
And you know what? It works. The shaking method has a really impressive success rate of about 85%. I mean, those are great odds when you're trying to save a whole colony. But what if that method isn't quite right for your setup?
Okay, if shaking out an entire hive feels a bit too dramatic for you, there's the merging method. With this one, you basically use the power of a strong, healthy colony to fix the weak one. You place the laying worker hive right on top of a strong hive, but you separate them with a sheet of newspaper. This allows for a really gradual introduction. As the bees chew through the paper, those powerful pheromones from the healthy queen below start to circulate, suppressing the laying workers and slowly restoring order.
This method is also really effective. It has a success rate of up to 75%, which makes it an excellent option, especially if you have a strong donor hive ready and willing to help out.
So, as you can see, you've got some clear options here. The shaking method, which is highlighted, is your most effective bet at around 85% success. But yeah, it does require a bit more physical effort. The merging method is less disruptive, with a solid 75% success rate. But it all depends on having a powerful donor colony available. And there are other variations too. But really, these two are your primary choices.
Now, seeing it like this makes the choice even clearer, doesn't it? That 10% difference in success rate between shaking and merging, that can be pretty significant. Your final decision is really going to depend on your resources, your apiary setup, and frankly, how far gone the problem is.
At the end of the day, every action you take is about one thing and one thing only: resetting the biological and social clock of that hive. By getting rid of the anarchic influence of the laying workers, you're creating this hormonal vacuum that only a true mated queen can fill. That's what allows the colony to finally heal and get back to being productive.
It's pretty fascinating when you think about it, right? The presence of a single chemical signal is what maintains an entire society. And the second that signal disappears, the system defaults to this desperate, chaotic survival mode. It's just a stark reminder that in these incredibly complex natural systems, order is a really precious and fragile state, often maintained by the slimmest of margins.